it's Nicole, and I'm here with another layout that I made at the crop that I went back. In October of 2021, I made 42 layouts. This is layout 40 out of 42, so we're almost done. And this one took me 16 minutes to complete. This one also has just one photo. It is a 4x4. I'm going to mat it on this yellow cardstock. I think everything in this kit is basically just scraps. And instead of using a whole bunch of pattern papers, I had these cut aparts that were part of this page kit, and I decided to use those and kind of make like a little grid with these cut aparts. And then I'm going to use those for one of them I'm going to be journaling on, the other one I'm going to be building an embellishment cluster on, and one of them is just going to be just kind of a die cut kind of sitting there. And I can't remember if I put an embellishment cluster on each one of those. I know I put an embellishment cluster next to my journaling. I put one next to the very narrow one, and then I put an embellishment cluster at the top. Now, one thing that I can do is where it says telegraph, that can be extra journaling. Like, actually what I could do is on the more square one that's underneath the photo, I could possibly do the journaling for that, and then I could give it to Mason and get him to write what he thinks of all these camping trips that we go to, and what does he remember the most about the camping trips. That is definitely something that I need to do more, is get like, other than my perspective, I guess, on these pages, and maybe have my kids do some of the journaling, or have Dave's do some of the journaling, or like Mason do some of the journaling. And I think that would add a lot to the scrapbook too. Maybe put a little spot where I can do the journaling, but then a spot where they can do the journaling. So I know I want to add some of our digital butterflies. So how I like to use those is I do like to put some foam tape in behind the little wings, and then it kind of makes it look like they're flying away instead of laying down flat on the layout. So I have this 3M foam tape, and I just end up cutting little slivers of it, and then I put it in behind the wings. Now, I found that I used to get those pop-up foams, but I was going through those so quickly. So now I buy the bigger rolls, and then they last me quite a long time. Actually, the roll that I'm using here, it's actually someone that ended sending that to me, and I think she had sent me 2 rolls, and that's the second roll. So I got them both used up, and they lasted me, I would say, a good 2 years. I have to say, since we got our digital files with the butterflies, I have been using way more foam tape than I used to, because before, I would use it once in a while behind some embellishments to kind of pop them up. But now I use foam tape almost on every layout, because I like to add, butterflies, they kind of go with everything. Anything that you're outside, you can add some butterflies or some owls. They just fit perfectly on the layouts. So we have about 500 digital files right now that are on sale. And what we're going to do, at first I had said that, all 500 were going to be gone all at once. And I think that's a bit drastic. We might need, 50 spots every week, if that, 30 spots every week. And the reason that we're going to start knocking some of them off the store is, as soon as you have more than 2,500 items in your store, the price per month is ridiculous. So what we're going to do is, we're going to put them on sale, and then they won't be available anymore as single files, but you'll always, they'll always be available as far as, the whole bundle. It's just not separate. And so what we're going to do is this week, I'll let you know which 50 will disappear kind of like for good. And then when we need more space, then I'll let you know which next ones are going to be gone, but they're going to be taken out of those 500. So if you go to our store, NicoleJones91.com, go to Classes Stores, he's got a clearance tab. So you go under there, so you know that those will be the ones that are going to be kind of chopped first off our digital store. I just had a few people that reached out with some questions, so I thought that I would answer it here in case some more people were wondering how that was going to work. Now back to this layout. Once I have all the embellishments down, I like to take a marker or a pen, and I like to do the flight of the butterfly. And then I was looking at the layout, and I'm like, it's kind of, kind of floaty. So one thing that I like to do when I find that the layout is kind of floaty is I take a pen or a marker, and I either make stitch marks all the way around, which is what I'm going to do in this case, or I will do like a line and then a couple of dots and then a line and 3 dots and kind of vary that. And I find that it adds a lot to a layout, and it works really well on layouts where like in this case, it's a white background. It's not a detailed background, so that works really well. Or if you have a lot of different pattern papers and you want to make them look that like they belong together, one way is to ink the edges, but another way to make them look like they all belong together is to take a pen and to start making stitch marks on all of the pattern papers, and then they're going to look like they belong together. So once I was done all the stitching, I kind of looked at my paper and thought, maybe that would have looked good to mat it on that yellow cardstock. But at this point, I had already done all the stitching all the way around, and I was like, no, I think I'm good. I looked at seeing if I wanted to add a title onto this, but at this point I didn't have any pre-made titles, and my journaling wasn't done, so the last few layouts don't have any titles or any journaling, and I'll just do that at a later time. But that's it. That's going to complete this layout, and I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.